What's going on, grinders and rest of the collectibles world? My name is Will Priester. I'll be hosting today's show. Welcome to the castle, card stock, afterlock. Got my main man, Tyler, toe tag and Tambo in the building as usual. Very special guest today. One of the most worldwide DFS voices ever created in mankind. We've got Dan Bach of the original DFS podcast. You guys might not know that. Dan is the OG in DFS podcast. Dan, welcome aboard. How's it going?
Love coming here talking about collectibles and Top Shot and cards. I've kind of morphed into this world a little bit more and love coming on here. I'm not doing shows as much as I used to, so it's fun to kind of break out the old radio voice a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Fantasy Fix podcast, for those of you that don't know, you have to head into the archives to get some of that DFS podcast magic. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Underdog Fantasy, one of the big wigs. This is, in fact, a real backdrop. This is real life. This isn't some screen. He's out there on the ocean kicking it right now. Jeremy Levine, how's it going? Welcome to the castle.
What's up, guys? This is going to be fun. My favorite topics.
Oh, man. Favorite topic. So Underdog Fantasy isn't one of your favorite topics?
I talk about it enough.
Excellent, excellent. Tambo, my good friend up north in Canada. How you hanging?
I'm good, man. Back from a little getaway, a little vacay. Back to the content. You know, I love it. And like Jeremy said, certainly one of my favorite topics to talk about. We had a great show last week. If you guys didn't catch it, with CSU Ram 88, talking all things Top Shot. I know this week we're going to mix it up a little bit, but certainly excited to have our guest Jeremy and get into it. And Dan Bach, the man, joining us as well. So it's great to see.
Yeah, for sure. We've had a good run of shows here. I mean, in my opinion, man, I think 2 weeks ago, probably one of the best cardboard shows we've had, since we've been rolling. So I thought that was a good one. Of course, last week, good friend CSU was on. This week, we got another great group. Always going to bring it in. We're going to talk about sportscardinvestor.com. Good friends of the show. Jeff Wilson's running an immaculate program over there. You definitely want to get involved. It's definitely what I use when I want to research product, when I want to research what I need to be buying, what's up, what's down, and you're getting it in real time. And you're also going to see trends from the past couple months. That's with his miraculous, auspicious market movers tool. Use the promo code grinders, 20% off your first payment. I always advocate, go ahead and get the 20% off for the year, not for the month, because if you like it that much, you want to get it for the year, you're going to end up paying 20% more. Just go ahead and take 20% off the top. Once again, that's promo code grinders, GRINDERS, 20% off that first payment. Let's hop into the content, people.
It's a great product. I'm talking to Jeff tomorrow.
Oh, well, see, listen, CEOs talk to CEOs, man. I'm trying to talk to Magic Johnson one day, so I got to start a company real fast.
We can make that happen.
Yeah. So listen, first topic, this is a hybrid show this week, which I'm really excited about. And I think this is just how we're going to kick it off. I think it's probably the most important way we're going to segment this out. Cardboard and Top Shot, not cardboard or Top Shot. Tambo, I know you've been big on this particular segment. I'm going to let you lead us off.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit in the past, so I'm definitely interested to get the takes of the others that are joining us, but I just think that was a big thing, and I know it was Gary Vee, everyone wants to quote him, and he comes out and says that, but it does make a lot of sense when you think about it. There's still a completely different market. There's still a lot of people that have no idea about the Top Shot side of things. I know there's a lot of newer companies out there that are developing themselves, like a RotoGrinders. There's softwares and products and things out there that you can use to gain an edge, if you will, and be able to dig in just as much as we love digging into something like the DFS space, where we're going in and grinding with all these tools and commentary and things like that to get others' takes and opinions. So that's one of the biggest things for me, is that there's still a huge market ahead of us. There's a lot we're going to talk about today, I'm sure, with where the Top Shot market is right now, but cards to me are still what they are. And nothing in my opinion has changed too much with them as far as the cycles go. You and I did a great show on that a couple of weeks ago about still being able to find some NBA deals as we lead into the playoffs, and what is your strategy. And I think for me, before I pass it off right quick, it always comes down to strategy. If you're using it, talking from an investment strategy, know what your plan is going in. Some people do want to get high-end vintage only. Some people want to get only graded cards. Some people want to buy raw lots to send them in to get them graded to flip that way. So in Top Shot, it's no different, but I'll be happy to hear what the other guys have to say. For me, it's always been they're two different things, but you got to know what your strategy is going into both of them separately.
For sure. I think we're going to do this thing snake draft. Tambo, Dan, Jeremy, and then we'll run it back with the next topic. Jeremy, Dan, Tambo. Dan, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, no, I think the main thing for me is somebody, and I always call myself a new collector. I'm more of like a rejuvenated collector because I was obviously into it in the junk wax era and, you know, I loved it back then. Now I'm older, got some expendable income. I can now kind of chase things from an investment standpoint. But the one thing for me is I think it's important, like, to just invest in what you like more than anything. And I think that applies to both Top Shot and to the card market. Like, I think so often people get too wrapped up in valuations, and yeah, you know, nobody wants to lose money in this world, whether it's Top Shot or cards. But I want you to like invest in things that you love. So even if it does go down in the short term, you don't feel bad about it. You have something that you love. And I think that's an important part of collecting that I think is sometimes lost because everybody is seeing the gains and seeing what things are selling for on auctions and you know, on, you know, the marketplace. But ultimately, I think it's got to boil down to things that you're passionate about. And I know Jeremy can speak to this because it's applied to me in just the business world here of, you know, I was passionate about radio and I was passionate about fantasy sports, and it led to a pretty awesome career. And Jeremy, I think your kind of your history here has been very similar. When you invest in things, not just cardboard or Top Shot, you're investing in things that you're passionate about. And I think ultimately it's going to pay off that much more for you in the long run because you're getting involved in something that you love. And I think it's more than just cards. I think it's more, it can boil down to what kind of cards, what, you know, who, which players do you love? Which Top Shot moments stand out to you? And I think, you know, these things can like spiral and actually help you in the long term to get over those parts where things go down and you're like, oh no, I'm out, I'm losing money here. But in the grand scheme of things, if you have something you love, it's okay.
Dan, for sure, as you were talking, man, it made me think about my non-sports career that was on the table in terms of financial advising, man, where, you know, if you're you've done the research, you know, you've read the charts, you know, and you've looked at the data and you're like, okay, Google is it. Well, Google isn't going to be $1 million company overnight. It's going to take some time, right? But if you stuck in there, you know, with the bad times, then in the end, you know, you get to reap the rewards. Jeremy, yep. Kicking it over to you, cardboard and Top Shot, not cardboard or Top Shot. Let's get it.
I agree with that for sure. I mean, Dan knows the very start of my my career right out of college was a company called Star Street, and it was a sports stock market. And that came from my childhood collecting sports cards, right? I always wanted the rookie cards of the players I thought were going to be good because I thought down the line I could sell them from, right? I thought of them as investments. Unfortunately, I was always going after the Vince Carters and not the Kobe's. So a little bit of a different return there, but they didn't turn out too bad. But yeah, I think I got back into card collecting towards the end of past summer and just kind of dove in fast and have been going really deep. And then got into Top Shot in January, and both. It feels like a sports stock market to me, right? You can invest in what you love. You can invest in the narratives you believe in. You can invest in the players you believe in. You can look at what's undervalued versus overvalued, and I think it's really fun to kind of come up with those theses and be able to bet on those. So I've had a ton of fun getting back into this world.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny you say, you know, getting into it and trying to kind of bet on some of those players. Like in your case, it's Vince Carter versus Kobe, you know, and I think right now, even in like today's, you know, up-to-date space, I think if we look at this year's rookie class, we're probably saying, okay, which one is the guy? Is it LaMelo or is it Anthony Edwards, right? Like which one is it? And even if I'm looking at Top Shot or the card market, I do think there's some buzz around LaMelo coming back because clearly when we thought he was done for the year, we saw this huge surge towards Edwards. And now it's like, well, LaMelo's coming back maybe next week, maybe this week. And so now, and then I've looked even on Top Shot, LaMelo never really saw as much dip as I thought. Like I've seen Edwards get down to 900, 700, and LaMelo still kind of stabilized around 1,200 or so. I think for his 4 badge moment, somewhere around there. And it really spoke to me in terms of what player and investor sentiment, like how much star appeal do they actually have that goes into what I think is, the collecting space, right? Because if we don't think they have star appeal, it doesn't matter what the rookie badge says. We want the stars.
But the beautiful thing about Top Shot in the current environment is I don't really care for Anthony Edwards. Like I think he's fine. Like I think he could be a good player, but I still want that dunk. And I still want that dunk more than anything. Like I don't care. Yeah. I don't care about like whether he's a great player or not. I feel like that dunk is going to live forever. And that's one, I think, slight advantage for Top Shot is that I think that the moments themselves could carry as much weight as the player themselves in some cases. And like, even if he goes on to bust, I still think that's going to be looked back at, maybe the dunk of the year, and is always going to still carry a tremendous amount of value. Where an Anthony Edwards card, for example, if he bombs, if he sucks, in a couple of years, the card's going to go way down and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it'll dip a little bit over time if he's not a great player, but there's no denying that the actual highlight in the moment is kick ass, and it will always be.
Yeah, it's been talking about Vince Carter earlier. It's been interesting to see that Vince Carter moment, which was his last shot before the bubble. That's carrying a lot of premium, right? And it doesn't make sense otherwise that would be worth so much, but it's a really special moment.
Yeah, last thing, and I'll kick it to you, Tambo. Dan, I as a Charlotte Hornets fan, I do think Miles Bridges may.
Knew you were going to say that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dude, I heard they're going to do this new throwdown version, and like that better. Don't let it be a reward. I don't want to have to go around and collect all these things again. Don't do that to me. But that one's on the list, Will. For sure.
Tampo's already told me I'm going to go broke. If that moment comes out, I'm buying it. I've already got his other best dunk of the year, and I got that one for like, I don't know, $10 or whatever. Tambo, over to you, man.
Yeah, he's had like 2 more since then, by the way. Not quite as good as that one, but he's had like 2 more huge dunks since then. But a couple things aside, just to what Dan was just saying, I think, again, I've said this since the start, the moment matters. Jeremy just brought up the Vince Carter one. I actually had it up here. It's one that I've been eyeing. We were going to talk later about what have we been eyeing. And, someone brought it up on Twitter the other day about a few more things, not just the last shot. It was the last shot also before the NBA shut down. So it was the last of his career, but it was also the night of where everything ended for the season. And so I think that's kind of cool when you go to some of the Series 1 moments and things that I'm looking at and eyeing up again now is, LeBron Series 1 dunking in the bubble when there's, pictures up on the wall of what looks like a giant Zoom call. Imagine 10 years from now, people looking back and be like, what was going on? Where were the fans? They have to dig into it. And I think that's one factor. And then to Dan's point, not just that, but I think that also, should, if it doesn't already, sell people more on the digital factor of this stuff. It's just so much cooler. Like you said, Anthony Edwards could bust for all we know, but that dunk, and I have the 1, 2, 3 of that dunk, which is his jersey number and LeBron or Michael Jordan, if you want it. That dunk is huge. And even if he was for somewhat reason to bust, then you still have the coolest moment he's ever had in his career. So that's the number 1 overall pick for that season in a digital format. The card is just a picture of him standing with the word Prism on the side or whatever. Yeah. It shows nothing. So this should get you sold on digital collectibles as a whole, if you're not already anyway, for things like that. But that is why, back to some of the points we made about the investment strategy and that I was talking about earlier, I do care about the moment. And as we talked about with CSU Ram last week, it was a lot about Series 1 and the original Top Shot badge moment. Then that's sort of the 2 things that I'm focused on when I'm looking at buying right now.
Okay, I got a question for Jeremy here, and this kind of goes more towards the cardboard because the one thing that he has done very well, and I've talked to him a little bit about it, over text and whatnot, is focusing on more like off-brand cards. Not necessarily going for the LeBron jersey card. He might have some of those in there, the LeBron auto card from his rookie year, but looking more at things that haven't gotten attention that are going to get attention. And I think one of the ones that you got in on early was the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson card from when he was at Miami. And I'm kind of curious, what are you kind of looking at now, and where are maybe a few options for people to consider that might fall into that category of players or personalities or, you know, cards that still have that ability to rise up that people aren't really paying attention to?
Yeah, I've been really intrigued by kind of the alternative cards since pretty early of getting back into this. I made some mistakes early on, just kind of, I got into it during the bubble last year. Just like you saw players like Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell, like doubling with their performance. I'm like, oh shit, you can play fantasy with this. Football season, I bought a bunch of Kyler Murray being like, oh, Lamar Jackson's worth 4 times more. That doesn't make sense to me. I think they're going to be about the same. And unfortunately, Lamar just came down, right? So, and I just bought a bunch of base Prism. I think you can do some of that, but you have to pick your spots. Where I've had a lot better returns is, like you said, now is looking for those kind of unique cards. And I've had the belief, I've had the thesis that like as more new collectors come into this, right, compared to a year ago, it's got to be 5 times the people collecting sports cards right now as there was a year ago, right? So as more new people come in, rules are going to change, and the agreed upon rules, and how that's why values will move over time, even of retired players or players that don't have any news. So yeah, I mean, some of my best purchases, you mentioned the Raw card. I bought a Muhammad Ali cutout from 1960 from Hamid, or however you pronounce it. I think I paid like $7,000 for it. I've been offered $75K for it. That was an 8. I think a 9 just went for $250 or $300 or something. I've gone after a lot of Serena. I just bought a couple Federers. I bought a lot of Post Malone and Jay-Z cards, and when I bought it,
I like that.
The seller said, "Congratulations, you have the best Post Malone collection in the world." I've already been offered one of the Jay-Z cards. I've been offered double what I paid for the whole lot, and so I think there's more in that avenue. I have a friend who's been collecting Beyonce cards. I just saw yesterday on Instagram, I saw a Justin Bieber Drake rookie, or they're both on it. I got a Steve Jobs rookie. I think there's going to be some interesting stuff kind of happening with, I don't know, I've been looking for an Elon Musk. I don't know that there's really anything out there, but like people from the business world, I think are going to be interesting. Hip hop world for sure.
I saw there's a Portnoy Allen and Ginter card that
I've got a couple of those.
Yeah.
The auto just went for, I actually know who bought. I think the auto is PSA 10 is like pop 1, 2, or 3. A friend of mine bought one for $1,000, really, like before I saw anyone else buying them. And one just went for $12K in golden, in this past golden.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
God, let's see, what can I get into next?
I think the message, by the way, there is just like, for people, go look up your favorite celebrity. Go look up your favorite character, your favorite Disney character, Marvel character, Star Wars character, whatever it is. Just go look up some of your favorite celebrities or characters, and I think you're going to find some opportunities there.
I'm going to buy Eddie Murphy right now.
Hey,
find one on eBay.
Do it.
Good one.
Go to
Eddie
PSA, see what the rookie is, see what the pop is, and go set some eBay searches.
I bet it's him in like that raw plastic suit with the mic.
Oh yeah. Red. Yeah. Is it the red one? The red jacket?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll kick it back to Tambo here. Dan, do you have any more questions before?
No, I wanted to just throw out one thing that I'm kind of focusing on a little bit on cardboard here. And it's funny because it's not somebody who's like random, like, and not that the guys that Jeremy mentioned were, but I think that Jack Nicklaus might be pretty much underrated in the card market, because telling you the dude's gonna die here in the next 10 years. I don't want to be morbid about it, but we know how the market works, and I don't think Tiger's gonna catch him anymore. So even though I love Tiger, I think everybody's gonna look at him as an all-time, great. I think that the appreciation of Jack Nicklaus is going to go up. And he's only got a handful of cards from like the 70s out there that you can still find relatively cheap in pretty good condition. And when I say relatively cheap, it's a couple of $1,000s, not, minimum $10,000 or $20,000. So that's one guy that I'm really looking for buying opportunities on, because I think in the next 10 years that those can easily 3 and 4x when, you know, history is written about who's the greatest golfer. And I think it's going to be him. So throwing that one out there for you guys.
Well, listen, since we're on this and we're kind of talking hybrid, this will be kind of a let's go a little rapid round here. How do we feel about the Topps launch just a few days, a few weeks ago? What's everybody kind of read on that? Tambo, Dan, Jeremy.
Well, I'll make it quick, and I didn't pass on it because I didn't want to be involved, but I was actually away last week, and I heard some things that went down. I maybe it wasn't as smooth of a launch, but again, it just speaks to the obvious of what we already saw with Top Shot, the digital collectible space, the digital trading card being a thing. Obviously, if they're getting involved, that says that there's a market out there, and they're looking at it as like, hey, it's almost like a Netflix blockbuster thing in the sense of smaller, level here, but you know what I'm saying? They don't want to miss out on this craze. So they're at least trying to get involved that way. But hey, we've also seen a lot of athletes get involved with, NFTs, and some have flopped and some have been, sound cool, but then didn't go anywhere. So it's all the craze right now, but I wasn't too involved in the top side. So maybe these guys know more.
Yeah, I didn't get in mainly because I just think the product is boring right now. And it legitimately looks like a cardboard image on a screen, and that's not utilizing what digital can do. Now, the demand for it was great. Things sold out. I think that's a positive for it. But me personally, I need more than like, a glittery, sidebar of a still picture like that. That doesn't do it for me in a digital collectible. And I hope that Topps decides to improve upon that, because you can do, it's limitless what you can do digitally. Don't just pretend to have a digital card. Do more than that. It doesn't even have to be a highlight, but come up with something unique and different. And I hope they do, as they continue to iterate the product.
I haven't looked at it closely at all. I mean, I've just kind of seen people mentioning it. Look, I'm not super interested in baseball now. That's probably part of it. I don't need another thing to get obsessed with. That's probably part of it. But also just kind of thinking about it and questioning, hey, am I missing something there? I've kind of had that question because I saw it launch. I'm like, should I spend time here? Am I missing something? What Dapper Labs has done with Top Shot, I think, is really special. And a lot of people are going to try to recreate it in ways, and I think most won't. And normally when you see an innovative new company come and do something really special, and then you see the old school companies they're disrupting try to do their best attempt at it, I feel like that almost never works. And I feel like that's what Topps is doing right now. And so without knowing much, I think it probably won't work and won't turn into a big market there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Just my little sidebar. I'm trying not to be answer too many questions, but it reminds me of Panini blockchain that was just kind of unsuccessful. Now, here's something that I do think Panini is doing that will be successful long term if you have higher end collectors. They've been running this, I think, almost since Top Shot really exploded. They've got their blockchain product that's in Dutch auction all the time, and it runs about 7 days or so. But there's a physical card at the end. So yeah, it's part of the Dutch auction, and the price starts around 100,000 or so, and everything's one of one. So there's not another one coming. Everything's one of one, and it's usually a Shield patch or a Nike patch or something like that. Big time players, some rookies, and it goes down, 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 down. And I was so mad at myself. I missed one the other day. I said, if it hits 1,500, I'm going to get it. And I saw it was around 1,800. I said, oh man, I'm going to. And I went out and forgot about it, and came back. And I got distracted with the basketball live final at FanDuel and just missed out. But my point is, I think they've done that to try to combat with Top Shot. I do think it's a great idea. It is a physical card, but it's kind of the blockchain effect. But they're going to send you the card in the mail. I think that's something they've done that's been fantastic. And then, Jerry, we're going to stay with you because you mentioned something about maybe having too many things, too many irons in the fire, your hand in the pot too much. That's running right into our next thing. How are we going to stay equally engaged with NFT, which, we'll say Top Shot, and cardboard, and not kind of have our hands all over the place and just kind of be so distracted?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens. I've been I mean, since last summer, I've been kind of talking anyone's ear off who will listen about sports cards, saying, I think these are great investments. I think they're great investments. And they have been. And I still think they will be going forward, but that gives me more fear than anything else has. In a couple of years, if you're a new collector, the type who wants to hop on a box break and have kind of that instant satisfaction or instant reward, you going to hop on a box break on Instagram, or are you going to go to Top Shot and open up a pack or go buy your favorite rookie? I don't know which way you go if you're collecting today's rookies. And so I'm really curious to see the effect that has. Right? They're not going to make more Muhammad Ali rookies, Serena rookies, Jordan rookies. But for today's rookies, which way do people go? And if you look at what Top Shot's done, I mean, the numbers are already probably in most days more money transacted on Top Shot than in the whole sports card market. Certainly close. And they are just getting started, right? They really haven't even tried to market the thing yet because they're building a lot of the infrastructure they still need to build to be able to scale it at the rate they have and are going to continue to scale. So there's a lot of marketing levers they can pull. There's a lot of growth levers they can pull. Have to assume they're going to get other sports. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I kind of view them I don't view them as different things. It's just the same kind of thought goes into both for me.
Good, Dan. Over to you.
Yeah. I think it depends on what kind of investor you want to be here too. I think the Top Shot market, if you want to be a really active investor, follow the trends, make your quick flips, you can do that on Top Shot so much easier than you can in the card market because it's still a hassle to sell cards. I mean, there's things like Star Stock and other options which are making it easier. But if you want to physically go on the most populous marketplace right now, eBay, and post a card, it's a headache. It's a headache to do. It's a process that will take, anywhere from 7 to 10 days instead of 7 to 10 seconds. Like it can happen in real time on Top Shot. So, if you're somebody who's just in it for the long haul and say, hey, I want to buy what I like and I'm going to hold it for the next 10 years and see what happens, I think you can easily, the card market might be perfect for you in that realm. But if you want to do the kind of day trading, the quick flipping, I just can't fathom doing it in the card market today, even though the tools to do it are becoming easier. So for me, I'm too busy in my day-to-day life to be the microtransaction guy. So I'm trying to invest in things that I can look at down the road and feel good about, getting a return on them. So I think that, vintage cards probably falls into that category a little bit more than the modern stuff. And also, maybe the more pricier moments out there. And I'm trying to make a decision here real quick. I want to get everybody's opinion. Zion and Jeremy's going to like to hear this. I'm completely bought in. I wasn't before the year started, but from what I've seen, this guy is an absolute freak and you can't stop him. He's shooting his shooting percentage is insane. So do I go with the season 1 block, the famous block, or do I go with the season 2? I like calling it the Migley, the 499, where he actually gets the block and the dunk in the same moment. One is about 3,800, the other one's about 1,500. Which one, Tambo? You seem to have an opinion on this. Which one should I get?
I know what you're looking at. You look at the out of 1357 Series 1 block, but it replicates his original Series 1 MGLE. We'll get the real pronunciation on there, and then the Cosmic that goes with it. It all streams down to that being the moment, and it's one of the best blocks that he'll ever make. It's in his first season. There's everything that goes with it. It's a very clear one which you pick, and if you got the money for that, which I know you do, that's the one I buy. You could go up. You could go up to the 11K and get the MGLE Series 1 out of 299 and lock that in. Well, it's still there. Imagine only 299 ever exist of that moment, and it's going to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you mentioned a couple things there, but it does tie into it, I guess, is that, just in general of how this is shaking out, Jeremy just mentioned a little while ago and, you can't dip your hand in every cookie jar, but this is another thing we've got. We assume, at least we can assume here with Dapper Labs, MMA, NFLPA we saw is in the mix. It looks like that could be something, this new rumored valuation for their company of, $7.2 billion. You got to think that's to get some of these things out there quickly. everyone's going to think, oh, 10x, 10x. Remember what happened with NBA? It doesn't always mean it's going to go that way. So first off, stick to what you know and like, because that's where you're always going to have. It's same in the card world. Everyone tried to buy every single rookie in a PSA 10 slab thinking I'm going to flip them all for money. Well, all these rookies aren't going to pay out. So you're going to take some losses with your wins, break even, and do all that work, shipping it, losing packages, talking to eBay, PayPal, you name it. That's a waste of your time. So that's what makes this easier. But in the long term, to Jeremy's point, I think that when people are looking at it, we haven't even got to forget just the marketing dollars, the utility factor. What about I'm at the game and I can now get a moment when I check out, scan my ticket, and get a moment into my collector's account of the game that I was at. And if I was sitting in a certain section, I can get this certain moment that was an exclusive one, or so on and so forth. So there's going to be huge advantages to this stuff in the future as it keeps going. Once they start putting marketing dollars and things like that into it, utility is going to be huge.
For sure, Dan. I definitely, if I'm choosing between Series 1 and Series 2, I'm probably always going Series 1. Secondly, in terms of Zion, here's why I'm high on Zion long term. He's not staying in New Orleans. He's going to pull a LeBron. No, we don't have Kobe Bryant's and D Wade's anymore. He's going to some super team to win a championship, and it's going to happen. So I'm bought into Zion long term, just period. And heck, maybe Ja Morant ends up in New York too. I'm just putting it out there. We're almost to the end. Dan, you talked about yours. Tambo, what are you planning on buying? And then Jeremy, we'll let you give us some closing thoughts, and we'll wrap it up out of here.
I'm right now looking at. I've got a bunch where I'm looking at all the Series 1s of the tier down. If I can get to an MGLE out of 299, I'm trying to get it. If not, I'm looking, space my money out more, because one, I love the moments. They're typically the same clip from those, like, to the Zion block. I'll get the out of 1357 before I'll get the out of 299 right now, and then use that other money to buy a bunch of other superstars, rookies, things like that. I still feel, again, we didn't talk too much about it here, and we're going to get out of here soon, but I still feel like there's room to go here that before we hit full blast off again. So I'm just taking it easy. My account has some great moments in it that I love. Mentioned certain serial numbers, things like that, but I'm still just waiting, watching it. It still feels like there's a little room to go here before we see full takeoff again. Gotcha. Jeremy, over to you.
First of all, Dan, that's not even a question. You got to go.
I know. It's just
the rookie. That's not even. There's no thought on that one. Two, let me shout out some companies I've invested in, because you mentioned look. I think what Top Shot has done is remove a lot of the friction of sports cards. You mentioned Star Stock. I think everyone here knows Nigel Eccles, who's one of the godfathers of fantasy. He's one of the founders of that. Star Stock's an amazing place if you want to be doing quick buying and selling. Another company, Dibs, is a great place to be doing the same. It's a sports stock market in a lot of ways. You can buy fractional shares of cards, move them really quickly. So if you're looking to do that quick flipping or the quick kind of playing fantasy, those Star Stock and Dibs are the places to do it. Another great place to check out is Alt. They've got a great vault product, but they've also just opened up a marketplace. So there's some really good deals on there, and it's a lot lower fees to sell there than anywhere else, or certainly than eBay. And then, look, in Top Shot for me, whenever anyone asks, I've been saying the same thing since the very beginning. It's LeBron Series 1 and it's rookies. That's where I would focus on that. I mean, sure, look, you can find people who are out of whack, but it hasn't made sense to me that some random players are worth so much. Even a Bismack Biyombo Cosmic was what, 3, 4, 5K. Like, there's no world where you should be paying 5K for anything of his. I think the LeBron Series 1s will trend as this kind of continues to become a thing. Those will hold value and accrue value. I think the rookie moments are the places to look. If you look at sports cards, rookies hold so much of the value. So I'd focus on the rookies you like. I still think, I've been looking at the Zions, I've been looking at the Jaws. I think those are the places to go there. And then some of the rookies you like from this class, I think, go there. Sports cards, I've bought a lot. I took probably most of January, February, March, most of that period off in a way as things were heating up, and I had gotten in a lot. I dove really deep into vintage soccer, which has picked up really nicely. I still believe in it just because the pops are so low. Like the Zinedine Zidane, Thierry Henry, Zlatan, like Ronaldinho, Neymar, the pops on their stuff you get. There's no pop. There's no 10, there's a 9, there's 2 8s, there's 5 7s, right? Like super low. I think those are still undervalued. But honestly, it's interesting. From when I started collecting, the best thing you could do is the most obvious thing, and it's buy the Jordan rookies. And right now, to me, that feels like the LeBron rookies, right? I had a I had and bought a couple more LeBron refractor 9.5 rookies, Topps Chrome, and those went up to 120. I bought one for 25 a while ago, went up to 120, now back down in 40, 50. And I think as he comes back and they make a championship run this year, he's going to be a really good buy. So sometimes it's just the simple stuff. And I think LeBron's a really good buy right now.
Excellent. Jeremy, listen, thank you for coming on. Dan, anything you want to close with?
No, just no. I love this show. Love doing, more sports card and Top Shot stuff. And Jeremy, thanks for coming on too, man. It's great to talk with you again.
Yeah,
Tambo.
for sure. Always fun.
Tambo, anything?
Yeah, no, same sentiment. We could talk about this forever. We talk
You
about
know
the
it.
topics. It's our favorite topics, so I'll put into one. So certainly appreciate you, Jeremy. Thanks for coming on with us, man. That was awesome. And yeah, let's keep it rolling here. We'll have some more good shows coming up for you guys.
All right, man. Well, listen, this is Will, Chief Justice 06. We're going to close this thing out. Thanks for joining us at the Castle. For Tambo, for Dan, for Jeremy. We'll see you next week, 7:45.